The Federal Trade Commission is violating our constitutional rights. What's up, people? Another beautiful day or night. Yep. Hope your 5 senses work. Health and strength is good. What? What's up, gamers? Got a nice little article here for you. Listen to this. Microsoft accused the FTC of violating the Constitution. Yeah. Talking about Fifth Amendment here. Listen to this. Microsoft state that the FTC lawsuit preventing the company acquisition of Activision Blizzard is violating its constitutional rights. Says here, Microsoft legal counsel has issued a response to the Federal Trade Commission lawsuit with a 37-page document that lays out Microsoft's case for the legality of its purchase of Activision Blizzard. Among many of the arguments in the document, Microsoft accused the Federal Trade Commission of violating its constitutional rights, including its rights to due process and neutral arbitration. Microsoft's bid to acquire Activision Blizzard could have a major impact on the gaming industry. Of Activision Blizzard is responsible for some of the largest franchises in the industry, including World of Warcraft. See World of Warcraft here. I watch with pride as you rise as a weapon. Hey, the Wrath of the Lich King trailer, epic, the best, man. Sorry, when the Lich King took the sword and then stabbed the ice, and that dragon came up out that ice, and then the dragon came up behind the Lich King. The Lich King was like this, and you just saw the face of the dragon behind him. Oh, that's it. That's when Activision was flexing, by the way. But anyway, let me keep going here. It says World of Warcraft and Call of Duty. Call of Duty has long been one of the most popular franchises in the world, and one of the main concerns regarding the acquisition is that Microsoft would have the power to make the franchise an Xbox exclusive, which would be a tremendous blow to Sony PlayStation. Xbox head Phil Spencer has stated that Microsoft has no intention of making Call of Duty exclusive. However, even saying that Microsoft has entered into a 10-year commitment to bring Call of Duty to Nintendo. So if that's the case, then when it comes to Nintendo, okay, let's take the Wii U for a minute. You got Call of Duty, World at War, Modern Warfare 3, and Black Ops, right? So with an update, Activision need to bring those games up to Call of Duty Black Ops 2 and Call of Duty Go Standard, so they can be played on the Wii U, and then you can use the GameCube, Wii Pro, Wii Classic Pro Controller. But anyway, let me keep going here. It says here, in the defense against the FTC attempt to block Microsoft from purchasing Activision Blizzard, the company legal counsel put together a lengthy document outlining its issue with the lawsuit. Numerous points accuse the FTC of violating Microsoft's constitutional rights, with Microsoft stating that the proceedings violate Microsoft's rights to procedural due process under the Due Process Clause of the Fifth Amendment, and violating Microsoft's rights to a neutral arbiter because the Commission has prejudged the merit of the instant action. Yeah, they did jump the gun on that one. It's kind of funny to me that the Federal Trade Commission didn't go at Sony when they were doing all them time exclusives. But anyway, it says here, the FTC main concern is that Microsoft will have too much control within the industry, particularly when it comes to the Call of Duty franchise. Microsoft believed that the concern to be unfounded, arguing that the acquisition of a single game by a third-party console manufacturer cannot upend a highly competitive industry. That is true. Just because you buy a studio, the game industry don't stop. And then the Federal Trade Commission need to ask Sony, what happened to SOCOM? What happened to Killzone, and what happened to Resistance? Why did you stop funding your own exclusive games? Just saying. But anyway, it says here, Microsoft claimed that a major motivation for the deal was to expand into the mobile market, stating that Xbox wanted to grow its presence in the mobile gaming. And 3/4 of Activision gamers and more than a third of it revenues come from mobile game offerings. That's a good argument. Says here, Microsoft also points out how it would make no sense to pay billions in order to acquire Call of Duty, only to then eliminate its PlayStation-based revenue. That wouldn't make any sense because the PlayStation user base is big. Anyway, it says, additionally, the document mentioned how Xbox has continued to support multi-platform games like Elder Scrolls Online, understanding that it's financially beneficial for multiplayer games to be as broadly accessible as possible. Look at Minecraft. Look at Minecraft. Minecraft is on every platform, so the FTC was rushed to judgment on this one. But anyway, says the FTC has been looking closely at the gaming industry recently. Yeah, that means they weren't looking when Sony got Spider-Man exclusive from Marvel. They weren't looking when Sony was hitting Microsoft with all those time exclusives. Anyway, it says bringing down a record $500 million. No, the FTC has been looking closely at the gaming industry recently, bringing down a record $500 million penalty against Epic Games earlier this month due to violating children privacy laws and using predatory monetization practices that may have cost Fortnite players millions in unwanted purchases. The FTC also held an investigation into the issue of loot boxes, which was prompted by the infamous Star Wars Battlefront 2 loot box controversy in 2019. That was EA's biggest mistake, because EA had exclusive rights to Star Wars, and that's a privileged position to be in. You got exclusive rights to Star Wars. No other studio can make a Star Wars game but you. Think of it. Anyway, it says, as the game industry continues to expand, regulatory bodies are paying more attention than ever. Look, EA was in a privileged position, a real privileged position, and they are the only studios that can make Star Wars games. And they made two crucial mistakes here. The first mistake was putting the loot box into Star Wars games, right? That was a big mistake. But the other real crucial mistake, if they would have just stopped themselves and catch themselves for a little bit, is when they went to the European Union. See, when they put the loot box in, I don't think they would have lost the Star Wars license then. But when they made that bold move by going over to Europe, then Disney started paying attention, like, oh, really? So you didn't humble yourself and like stop yourself from going over there. You went over there with your own intentions, and they pulled that rights away. That was a big mistake. When they put the loot box into Star Wars, I don't think Disney would have took the license away from them. I don't think so. They would have still had the rights, and they could have made all their Star Wars games like they wanted to. But the moment they got bold and brave and thinking that they are above the law, and once they went over to Europe, the European Union dropped the hammer on them, and then Disney stepped in, took their rights away from them. Anyway, look, when it comes to this old FTC lawsuit against Microsoft, they rushed to judgment because whoever started that lie saying that Call of Duty was going to be on Xbox only should be ashamed of themselves, because Microsoft bought Mahjong, and Minecraft is on every platform there is. So if Microsoft bought Activision Blizzard, you think they were going to remove Call of Duty from PlayStation? No, they weren't. That was PlayStation making that false claim, and the FTC rushed to judgment on this one. And Microsoft now is fighting back like, no. We never said we were going to take Call of Duty and make it just for Xbox only. We never said that. Those words never came out of our mouth. That's Sony. That's Sony fanboys saying that, because if we never took Minecraft off PlayStation, and we never took Elder Scrolls Online, what makes you think we were going to take Call of Duty? And then Microsoft even took it a step further now by saying Nintendo, they're going to support Nintendo with Call of Duty. So that now brings the Wii U now into the equation, because the Wii U now is backwards compatible with Wii. So the Wii has Call of Duty World at War, Call of Duty Modern Warfare, I think Reflex, Modern Warfare 3, and Black Ops. So those 4 games now, they need an update with all the missing content, and they need to be up on the standards of Call of Duty Black Ops 2 and Ghost, and then go on from there. So, you know, that would really help the Nintendo fan base a lot to get all the missing content that World at War, Modern Warfare, Modern Warfare 3, and Black Ops were missing out on to the Wii U. And that way now you can use the Wii U Pro controller, the GameCube controller, the Wii Pro classic controller on World at War, Modern Warfare 4, Modern Warfare 3, and Black Ops. And that would be real beneficial to the Wii U fan base, you know. So that was a good move on Microsoft to bring, you know, Call of Duty to Nintendo. So to me right now, the FTC is rushing to judgment, because Microsoft made no mention of taking Call of Duty off PlayStation platform. Okay, the FTC need to blame Sony, because they got so caught up in Call of Duty and abandoned their shooters that they used to support. And I guess they didn't think, when the whole Activision Blizzard situation was happening, that Sony didn't see that as an opportunity to like step in and try to like purchase Activision Blizzard. They were just sitting there. And once Microsoft saw that, man, it's like, really? So you guys are not stepping in? Sony, you're not going to help them? Nintendo, you're not going to help them? Okay, we'll take care of it. And they just swooped in. Got him. So to me, the FTC right now is just rushing to judgment on this, you know. They want to prove themselves right, so to speak. But now Microsoft and the shareholders at Activision, plus the workers, even the workers at Activision Blizzard, agreed to the deal. So the FTC got a heavy battle on their hand, because you got the shareholders, that's one. You got the workers, that's two. And then you got the 75% of the 75% of the public saying that, you know, let the deal go through. So Microsoft should fight back on fight back on that, because if Sony can have monopoly power on studios by telling them to not put games on Xbox, then Microsoft should have the right to buy Activision Blizzard. You know, so and they should. You know, Microsoft should have the right to buy Activision Blizzard. So the Federal Trade Commission, to me, like they just like rush to judgment, you know, because they want to look good, or because they just caught the creators of Fortnite, Epic, in a $500 million suit, plus the Star Wars loot box. So they rush to judgment now, thinking that they're right on this one. But Microsoft, if Sony have manipulation power over third-party developers, where they can block games from coming to Xbox, then Microsoft should have the right to purchase Activision Blizzard. Let's get it over with, you know. So that's just my thoughts on the whole situation. And they were right for doing that. And just because you buy a studio in the video game industry, EA was liquidating studios, and the Federal Trade Commission did nothing about that. Just because you buy studios in the game industry don't stop just because a console maker buys a studio. The game industry keeps growing, because you got so many people that work that's like in like colleges, universities that are trying to get into the game industry, and you know, there's so many people trying to get in, trying to create games because their love and passion for games. The industry don't stop. Studios are being formed every month. You know, out of a year, every month. You know, people are coming together because of their passion for game development and stuff like that. So the industry don't stop, man. Just because you buy a studio and or you buy a studio, or you know, you have a studio joining your joining your umbrella that you have on your console. You know, it doesn't stop. It just keeps growing and growing and growing. So the Federal Trade Commission, to me, was wrong on this one. You know, for jumping the gun on this. You know, and see, Sony was trying to play the victim. They were trying to play the victim in all this. They were trying to play the victim in all this and try to point the finger at Microsoft, but now they have been exposed, you know, of what they've been doing, you know. So the Federal Trade Commission need to look into Sony instead of looking at Microsoft, because Microsoft ain't the villain here, you know. It's Sony, because they have monopoly power over third party about what games comes to Xbox and what don't, you know. So that's where they need to look. Anyway, I'm gonna leave this video for y'all to enjoy. Nice talking to you people again. Chris, still Star Wars and Star Trek thing. Bored, dark section. I'm good. Peace.